What's good, fight fans? Your Majesty speaking. So I saw a Instagram or Twitter. I think it may have been Twitter, but I think I seen it on Instagram where Shakur Stevenson and CONORBENN have verbally agreed to fight each other. Apparently, after Shakur fights Teofimo Lopez. It looks like they are talking about the fight being in April of 2026. However, I think Teofimo Lopez and Shakur are supposed to be fighting in January. For those who don't know, I'm a big Shakur Stevenson fan. I think he is probably the most skilled fighter in the sport. However, I don't like weight jumping fights like that. Now, granted, if he fights Tio, he'll be at 140. And apparently the CONORBENN fight will take place at 47. I've always said that I don't see Shakur Stevenson as a full-fledged 47-pounder at any point, but I thought 40 would probably be his cap off, and then maybe he would make 47 for certain fights. You know, maybe the Devin fight, or maybe a CONORBENN, or some type of fight where it would make sense for him to jump up to a weight class that is not his natural, or not a weight class that he's comfortable at. Like maybe like how when Floyd was a 47-pounder, but for certain fights he would go to 54. I kind of had Shakur pegged as one of those guys who would probably have his best fights in the 40 range and then go to 47 for certain fights if they present themselves. But I don't like it. And I'm saying it because I'm one of those people who I believe what I believe, and I believe there are weight classes for a reason. And I believe that if you are going to jump weight classes or move through the weight classes, I believe that I am under the pretense that you should do it the correct way. You should physically allow your body the time it needs to grow into that weight class and not just jump around. And so that's the reason why I thought Canelo would be Crawford. Obviously, Crawford is an anomaly. You got to give Crawford his credit. But I just think that Shakur, first of all, let me say this. I really don't even think he should be going to 40 at this point. But because Shakur is one of those fighters who can't get people to fight him, he's going to have to be one of those fighters who jump around to take the fights, so make the fights that people want to see, because it's going to be hard for him to get somebody in his weight class to fight him. So he's going to have to do the jumping, which is why I'm okay with the Teofimo fight. Now, my issue with him and CONORBENN making or agreeing to a fight in April is that Shakur and Tio is fighting in January, if I'm not mistaken. But we know Shakur to be one of those guys who has hand issues. His hands are always bothering him after his fights. And so I think the first thing in that fight that worries me is I don't know if after a fight with Tio, if Shakur's hands are going to be ready to go right back in training camp and fight CONORBENN. And even if he does, I don't think that would be the best look for him at that point. I think that if you're going to fight Tio at 40 in January and you want to go to CONORBENN and fight CONORBENN next, I think that's a fight that should probably take place in August or September of 2026. Allow yourself the time to grow into, or use this training camp to grow yourself, to gain the weight properly and then cut it down so that when you go ahead to move to 147, it's not that big of a difference. And because you don't want to gain fat weight, you want to gain the weight the correct way. You want to gain the muscle. You want to gain it correctly. So I think that if he is going to go ahead and fight fight Conor after Tio, I think he should properly allow himself to gain that weight and, get himself acclimated to it. And then, like I said, CONORBENN ain't no slouch, bro. Like, He's no slouch. He ain't no slouch at all. He ain't no slouch at all. And I think that, to me, I believe that as skillful as Shakur is, I believe that weight class is for a reason. I believe CONORBENN, being as physically strong as he is, will cause Shakur Stevenson a lot of issues. And it's hard for me to see Shakur winning that fight, only because as good as I know he is defensively, what do you do when somebody just don't give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? When a motherfucker just throw caution to the wind and they just physically strong. Granted, Shakur could be one of those guys who's in that Bud Crawford realm, who's in that Floyd Mayweather realm, where they just special. They can go up those weight classes, gain the weight, whoop a motherfucker, use their skill, and keep it moving. Hopefully, I hope that's what it is, because like I said, I like the young dude. But I think the second thing in that is, I wouldn't look past T.O., man. Like, I think T.O. is not an average fighter. T.O. has experience. He's fought the Lomachenkos. He's fought the Josh Taylors. He's fought the Jermaine Ortizes. So he has experience, and this ain't just no walk in the park. Now, however, I do believe that Shakur Stevenson got the goods to beat Teofimo, because I see how Teofimo has issues with fighters that actually move. T.O. is an excellent fighter when you're coming to him and he can actually box and pick you apart. But when he got to go be the guy that's coming after you, is when he normally look his worst. You start looking at the Sandor Martin fight. You start looking at the Jermaine Ortiz fight. He just doesn't do well with people who are good at controlling distance. And even though he won those fights, a lot of people thought he lost those fights. And I thought he won the Jermaine Ortiz fight, but I thought he lost versus Sandor Martin. But I can see how Shakur can actually beat Teofimo Lopez. But I don't think it's a walk in the park, man. I think that Shakur should get off Twitter and focus on Teofimo Lopez, because it ain't no CONORBENN fight if you don't win against Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez is not William Zepeda. He's not Oscar Valdez. He's not Jamel Herring. He's a much better fighter than them. However, I do believe Shakur Stevenson is skilled and a better fighter than Teofimo Lopez, and that he will win. But you can't sleep on nobody, man. You gotta, and Teofimo can crack too. So the last thing you want to do is go in this fight sleeping on T.O., looking past him, man. Just my advice to Shakur: focus on this Teofimo fight and worry about the rest of that shit after. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this agreed to fight. Let me know if y'all think that it's a fight Shakur should take, if he should stay at 140, or if he should go back to 35 after T.O. if he wins or loses, however that may go. Let me know what y'all think. And let me know what y'all think about the fight. Do y'all think it's a fight that Shakur Stevenson can win? Do you think he should go up? You know, let me know. I like to communicate with the people. I like to talk boxing with the people. So get in them comments. Let me know what y'all think. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you have not hit the notification bell, please do so that you will be notified when I drop future videos. Also, if you have not subscribed to my social media channels, please take advantage of the opportunity. They are in front of you. And until next time.